welcome everybody to the first ever pick and roll chat video. Today is my first attempt at this. This may not last, but I'm trying something new and I want to see what the feedback is, depending on how many views, how many likes, whatever, how much good feedback I get from this. It will continue. But as of right now, this is kind of a pilot episode. So what this is I, Metro Athletics, will be talking about the Western Conference standings as of today on January 31st, 2024. So let's hop into the conversation. Also, a quick side note, I do want to thank everybody for all the support on the Amon-Ra St. Brown, his story video. That was a very fun research project to do. I enjoyed making it. If you don't follow me on Instagram or X or Twitter, follow me at Metro Athletics. Same spelling as the YouTube. The E in Metro is the number 3. Amon-Ra St. Brown actually viewed my story when I posted that the video was live, so that was pretty cool. I don't know if he watched it, but it was cool. I tagged him, and yeah, I have the screenshot to prove it. But yeah, really appreciate the support. There is another research project video coming soon. This channel is going to be more NBA heavy than NFL heavy. The NBA is just what I'm most knowledgeable on. It's definitely my strongest suit. But as I get older and I learn more about the game of football, I'm paying more attention to the league rather than just my favorite team, which has been my problem basically my whole life. So I'm really trying to branch out and learn more about different players, different teams, stuff like that. But for the NBA, it's really easy for me to talk about anything. So that being said, I also love to talk about the NBA. So my next video will be coming soon. It's on an NBA athlete. It's just taking a little while because I want to make sure I have all the right information. I want to make sure this video is executed real well, make sure it's entertaining, and you guys will enjoy it. I am 100% confident that if you liked my Amon-Ra St. Brown video, you will like my next video. I don't want to spoil who the athlete is, but I did make a post on Instagram. I put about, 5 players on there, so you guys can theorize who the next athlete is going to be. With that being said, though, let's jump into this video on the Western Conference. So normally I would work my way down the list from 1 to 10-ish, or 1 to 12. But this Western Conference is so interesting because it's really deep. I mean, the Eastern Conference has been great this year. I mean, the number 1 seed is the Celtics, 2 is the Bucks, 3 is the Knicks, 4 is Cavs, 5 is Sixers, 6 is Pacers, 7 is Heat, and 8 is Magic. But outside of the top 8, I mean, I'm not too confident in the Hawks. I'm definitely not confident in the Bulls, although they've been pretty decent lately. And all the teams below them, definitely not interested in talking about. But with the West, it's not like that because, I mean, obviously the Grizzlies are screwed. The Blazers are bad. The Spurs are bad. But the Warriors, the Rockets, the Jazz, Lakers, Pelicans, Mavs, every team in the bottom to middle section is interesting to talk about. The Warriors are the Warriors, okay? We all know they are not the same this year. Andrew Wiggins, quite frankly, looks like, I don't want to be too critical here, but he's a shell of his former self from just a few years ago. Now I question, is this the Andrew Wiggins of the future? Because, the obvious thing to say is, well, he's going to turn it around. But it's been almost half a season already, and he hasn't turned it around. He just looks really bad. I hope the best for Wiggins. I like Wiggins. He was the perfect plug-and-play player on the 2022 Warriors. And once he got off the Timberwolves, it really helped his career. But I just don't like it. I don't like this team. Draymond has been really good lately, but Klay being a shell of himself, Wiggins being beyond a shell of himself, there's just not much hope there. I don't have the answer to fix it. I'm not a GM or an assistant GM in the NBA, so I don't want to sit here and act like I know what they need to do. I don't. The obvious thing would be making a trade, but they had the opportunity to trade for Pascal Siakam, and they weren't willing to give up Jonathan Kuminga. That's just not a good look at all. Like, what more do you want? Genuinely. Okay, you don't want to give up on Kuminga. That's great. Believe in your players. But then, on the contrary, you need to maximize Steph Curry's window right now. So what are you doing? Literally, what are you doing? Steph is one of the best players this league has ever seen. In my opinion, he's probably top 10, at least top 12 players ever to play this game. Maximize on that window. You're not going to get that with Klay anymore. And as a NBA fan, it would be really weird to see Klay Thompson in another jersey. It just would. Draymond Green, it would also feel weird, but I mean, he was always kind of the odd man out, especially over the last few years. Maybe not pre-Kevin Durant, but definitely Kevin Durant and beyond. He's just been the odd man out. And obviously after the Jordan Poole incident, it really took a shift there in that whole situation. But I think the obvious thing is to trade away Klay, Dre, Wiggins. Maybe not all of them. You know, Draymond's been good lately, and I really do believe he's trying to work on himself. He said it himself, he wanted to retire, but Adam Silver talked him out of it. I do feel for Draymond. I don't know what's going on in his head. I do 100% believe in mental health. I hope he has been figuring out what has been going on with him, and I hope he works on that and continues to move forward with that. But that doesn't, just because he has these issues, doesn't mean the Warriors shouldn't look to trade him. They should. They should be looking to move every piece. If I'm the Warriors, the only untouchable player is Steph Curry. Jonathan Kuminga should have been traded for Pascal Siakam. He should have. I can't wrap my head around that. Siakam was the only big name on the market, right, this season. Since, Harden and Dame, obviously. But yeah, it's just not a good look for the Warriors. I personally don't know if they can turn it around. Their home record is 13-13, and their away record is 7-11. Now, granted, they did miss a few games because of their assistant coach passing. But still, that was only a few games, and your record at home and away is just this bad. I don't believe in them at all to even make a good play-in push. Now, if they do make the play-in, that's a team you don't want to face in the play-in. I would be terrified of facing Steph Curry in the playoffs. He's just that good. But yeah, the Warriors definitely should be looking to make moves this offseason, or this trade deadline. And we'll see where they go from there. But definitely keeping an eye on them. They're not a team you should fully count out, but I am counting out Wiggins, and I'm very close to completely counting out Klay. It happens. He's getting old. He had his time. Draymond had his time. This core, that big three of Draymond, Klay, and Steph, they did great things. You can't take away 73-9. You can't take away 4 championships. That happened. And I am a Cavs fan who lives in Cleveland, and I can tell you it stings to say they have 4 championships, but they do. And they were a great team, and I have nothing but respect for them, and I hope they figure it out. Now, the Rockets are the next team, and they're really interesting. Okay, the Rockets, they started off this season really well, and I actually attended the Cavs versus Rockets game here in Cleveland, and they looked really good. We beat them in overtime, if I remember correctly. To be honest, I had a few beers, but they did look really good to start the year, and guys like Dylan Brooks, Fred VanVleet, they were looking like good pickups, and Alperen Sengun has been proving this year he's a good player, good to great player, and the team should be building around him for sure. But my issue with the Rockets, this isn't a complete negative. It's not even a negative necessarily. It's Jalen Green. I don't know what to make of Jalen Green. I know I'm not the only one who thinks this. I know a lot of NBA fans think this. Jalen Green is just an odd player because he doesn't look like he's a superstar. He doesn't even look like an all-star at times. But he's not bad. You know, he's not DeAndre Ayton, who had the potential to be a superstar. He had the physicality, the capability of being that star. But he just didn't care to be, if that's the right word. But Jalen Green's not like that. Jalen Green is a good player. He can score the ball. He's pretty athletic. But he's not even like a second or third option you want on a championship team. Now, granted, it is only like, his third year. Don't want to put too much pressure there. Third or fourth year, actually. I think it might be his fourth year. I don't know. Doesn't matter. You don't want to put too much pressure on a young player. I don't like doing that. I don't want to sit here and be like, okay, it's his fourth year, third or fourth year. He needs to get it all ready right now. No. I hate doing that. But as of right now, he doesn't look like the type of guy you want to build around. They should be building around Alperen Sengun. And I really like Jabari Smith. I really like Amen Thompson. I think they're on the right track. But this is probably going to be a year where they miss the playoffs again. But they're really close. They're really close. Now, the Utah Jazz have been interesting because they've actually been pretty good this year so far. They're 24-25. They're the 10th seed in the West as of right now. They are on a 2-game losing streak, but that's okay. Lauri Markkanen has proven that last year was not a fluke. But what has been interesting to me the most is Colin Sexton. Colin Sexton has had a really good stretch. And as a Cavs fan, I have always really loved Colin Sexton. But Sexton has really turned it up, turned it to a new level. He's scoring the ball more efficiently, and he's just really entertaining to watch. But I don't think it can last. I don't believe in the Jazz long term. I think they could be a scary play-in team. You know, if you're the Lakers, between the Rockets, well, I don't want to necessarily say the Warriors, but they did beat the Warriors in the playoffs last year. But between the Jazz, Rockets, Warriors, and possibly Grizzlies, Pelicans, and Mavericks, the Jazz are one of those teams you want to avoid in the play-in. They just are. I think a team like the Lakers could beat them, but if a team like the Pelicans had to face them, I think the Jazz could beat the Pelicans. But I don't see this lasting. I think they're going to fall out in the play-in. They will be a play-in team. I'm confident in that, unless the Rockets turn it back up or the Warriors turn it back up. But yeah, they will be a play-in team, but they're not making the playoffs, in my opinion. They've had an interesting year. I really hope this is the year they decide to move on from Lauri Markkanen. I was genuinely surprised they kept him this long. He's a really good player, but I think they could get assets for him. And I could see him ending up with a team like the Oklahoma City Thunder or the Sacramento Kings next season, or maybe even the year after. Now the Lakers. Man, they've been a mess this year. They're not at an all-time low. Definitely not. All-time low would be like last few years of Kobe, 2014, 2015, 2016. But if you're the Lakers and you have an aged LeBron James and a starting to age Anthony Davis, you don't want to be here. You don't want to be the 9th seed. You really want to maximize your potential. And like many people, I really believed that the Lakers' moves last trade deadline were great. They added depth over chasing big names. That's what they've needed to do this whole time. They had it figured out in the bubble in 2020, and then they screwed it up with the Russell Westbrook trade. But we don't need to go there. It happened. It's dealt with. It's been talked about a million times. I don't really like focusing on that. But their issue is, now that they have the depth, they're just not there. This depth isn't what we thought it was in the playoffs last year. And the Denver Nuggets showed that when they swept them in the Western Conference Finals. I think the best move they need to make is trading for DeJounte Murray. I hate when the Lakers name chase. I really do. But this isn't name chasing. DeJounte Murray is the type of player you want to put next to LeBron James. He wouldn't be the second option. Anthony Davis would still be the second option. Hell, I'd still say Anthony Davis should be the number one option, LeBron the number two option at this point, and then DeJounte Murray as your third option. They need to be willing to trade Austin Reeves for DeJounte. D'Angelo Russell or Austin Reeves. You don't want to give up both. If you have to, you might want to consider it. I personally wouldn't do it. I would honestly pick D'Angelo Russell over Austin Reeves in a trade. That might be controversial. That might age horribly. But I really would. I like Austin Reeves. I think he's really good. And I've seen what he's capable of doing. And I don't want to say D'Lo's better, because I don't believe he is at this point. But D'Lo is a better fit with DeJounte. Is he, though? Now that I'm saying that out loud, now I'm second-guessing myself. I don't know. It would be a team I'd have to watch for sure. So, yeah, see, I'm not always right, just like everybody you see on TV. Guys like Stephen A. Smith, definitely Colin Cowherd. Guys aren't always right. So, I don't know. Do you pick D'Angelo Russell? Do you pick Austin Reeves? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. But, yeah, I don't know. They're just in a bad place. I really hope they trade for DeJounte Murray. I think that would be a great problem solver, and they'll definitely be a team to watch at the trade deadline. So now we got the Pelicans. I really love this Pelicans team. I do. Even though they're the 8th seed, they just have so much depth. They are a good team. I don't want to call them a great team. They're a good team with good players, but I don't believe in them. I don't believe in them. And that's not because of anything other than the fact that I am waiting for the impending injuries. I'm just waiting for that notification. Zion's out for the season. Brandon Ingram's out. CJ might even be out. They are just a team that I just can't see this lasting. Now, if they do, assuming that they do, because they are healthy at this moment, they can make some noise. If I'm the Timberwolves, I don't want to face them in the first round. If I'm the Nuggets or the Thunder, especially the Thunder, I don't want to face them in the first round. That's just a scary team to face in the first round. So we'll see what happens with the Pelicans. I think they're on the right track. Just keep doing what you're doing. Just stay healthy, please. Now, this is where the list really starts getting interesting. So the 7th seed right now is the Dallas Mavericks. Within a few days, they could be the 5th seed. They're only one win back from being the 6th seed, and they are how many games back from the 1 seed? They're only 7 games back from the 1 seed. So it's starting to get close. I don't think they will end up at the 1 seed, obviously, but they've been hot. Obviously, Luka had 73 recently, but Kyrie has been on a tear. I've been loving Kyrie this season. He's been a great player. Luka and Kyrie really seem to be working this year, as opposed to the end of last year. And, they just look really good. I think they're on the right track. Maybe make a move at the deadline. I think Kyle Kuzma would be a great fit on this team. That's what they need to be focused on. Getting a guy like Kuzma, a guy who can fit next to Luka and Kyrie, but more Luka. Focus entirely on Luka, which they have been doing. But if they can get that third player, they'll be really good. And I think they can make a Western Conference Finals appearance. That's how much I believe in Luka Doncic when you get the right pieces around him. But I don't think they're contending. They're still a team you don't want to face in the playoffs, no matter what seed you are, no matter who you are. You do not want to face that team in the playoffs. Now, the Suns, but they're not there, have one more win than the Mavericks. They're interesting. They could be a play-in team. They could be a playoff team. I don't know. But what I do know is Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal are a trio you do not want to face. I really like this team. I was really high on this team to start the season, I should say. I firmly believed they would be the 1 seed. I genuinely thought, barring injuries, they would be the 1 seed. They would just be untouchable. They made great moves in the offseason beyond Bradley Beal. They filled out the right kind of role players around them with guys like Eric Gordon. I really liked it. But they haven't been healthy all year. And they have been healthy recently. I can't remember if Booker has been out still. I haven't watched the Suns in a while. But health has been really screwing them over. I hope they can figure it out, because when they're healthy, they are a fun team. I just don't want them to end up like the Brooklyn Nets with James Harden, Kyrie, and Durant. It seems like Durant sold his soul for those Warriors championships. He's going to end up with these unhealthy teams like this. Unhealthy big threes, I should say. But I think they'll figure it out. I think they'll make the Western Conference Finals. They could. But it all comes down to who they match up with in the playoffs. Because if they match up with a team like the Clippers, the Nuggets, even the Timberwolves, I don't think they could win that series. I don't. So I think for them, seeding really matters. Now, the Kings have been looking really good again this year. But what's been interesting to me is Domantas Sabonis this year has felt like the best player on the team. De'Aaron Fox has been great this year. I love watching De'Aaron Fox. He's a hooper. But man, they are one piece away. If they could have got Pascal Siakam, I would genuinely pick them as a potential finals contender. They are that close. Now, if I'm the Kings, they need to move on from Harrison Barnes and upgrade that wing position. Get a guy like Lauri Markkanen. Get a guy like that. Or somebody to help join in with Sabonis. Get another big man. More of a 4, but definitely get a big man. They're a really fun team, but I think they're more of a regular season team than a playoff team. But I do have high hopes for this team. I don't want to sit here and act like I despise this team. I genuinely love watching the Kings whenever they're on. Then I can watch anyway, because they come on late, being over on the East Coast. But yeah, the Kings are a fun team. I really hope they can get there. I think they're close. Just get that final piece. Now we get into the contenders. And I'm just going to kind of group these guys together, because I don't want to sit here and talk 4, 3, 2, and 1 completely in depth. Because the Clippers are at 4, Thunder are at 3, Nuggets are at 2, Timberwolves are at 1. I think each of these teams are finals contenders. Now, between the Thunder and the Clippers, I would take the Clippers over experience. But talent-wise, you can't count out Shea. You just can't. And Chet, right now, is a defensive player of the year candidate, in my opinion. Top 2. He's been amazing. That duo of Shea and Chet would be enough to make a finals run. But is this the year? Is Chet's rookie year the year? I don't know. Or is this the year the Clippers finally get to the finals? I actually hope so. I love Kawhi. I love Paul George. I love Russell Westbrook. I like James Harden. But yeah, both of these teams are interesting. I think that Western Conference Finals could be the most entertaining Western Conference Finals. Assuming, they don't face each other before the conference finals. That playoff series would be amazing. the Thunder are so far ahead of schedule. It's unbelievable. And the fact they could finish as the 1 seed this year is crazy. Shai is having a potential MVP year. I don't think he's going to win it, but he could. And that's amazing. I love that. Shai right now is my favorite player in the NBA, by far. He's the most entertaining player to watch. And the Thunder are just a super fun team. And it's so far beyond the talent. They play so well together. I love it. I love this Thunder team, but I also love this Clippers team. And I was just at the Cavs-Clippers game on Monday, and they were fun to see in person. Kawhi is one of the greatest players I've ever seen live by far. So it's hard to count out those guys. As long as the Clippers stay healthy, they can make the finals. And if the Thunder are playoff ready, they could also make the finals. It's so crazy. Last but not least, we have the Nuggets at 2 and the Timberwolves at 1. Man, these two faced each other in the first round last year, and that was a fun series. But what really surprised me this year so far has been the Timberwolves. I was not a believer in the Timberwolves whatsoever. I thought the Rudy Gobert trade was a huge, huge, huge mistake. Not because I don't like Rudy Gobert. I actually love Rudy Gobert. He's a great defensive player. He always has been. I believe he's always deserved those all-star spots. He's a great player. I'm just a defensive-minded guy. I love watching defensive players. Guys like Isaac Okoro. Wink, wink. But yeah. I didn't believe in this Timberwolves team. But I saw the jump Anthony Edwards made this summer. And I knew that would be exciting. Don't want to sound like LeBron in the meme, but I did. I just had a feeling Anthony Edwards would be a great player this year, and this would take his jump into superstardom, and I believe that that's happened. That has 100% happened. Other than Shai, Anthony Edwards is probably my second favorite player to watch because he's just so exciting. He's an amazing player, and he's really taking everything seriously, it sounds like, because, there were circulations about what he was eating and stuff like that before. But now he's just taking a jump, and I love it. That being said, could they beat the Nuggets? I don't know. The Nuggets are by far one of the best teams in the league. And that's obvious. But with Jokic and Jamal Murray, they are just a duo that is so good that I don't know if anybody can stop them. I would still pick the Nuggets to make the finals. I would do it again. I think they could be beaten, but they are just that good. They are just that good. They're not the 2016-17 Warriors with Kevin Durant. They're not unstoppable. They can be beaten. I wouldn't be entirely surprised if a team like the Timberwolves, Thunder, or Clippers beat them, or even the Suns, honestly, just because Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and Beal. But more of those top teams. I wouldn't be surprised if those top other three teams I named would beat them. So the Western Conference right now is an interesting spot. I'm genuinely excited for the playoffs this year. I think it's pretty safe to say this is close to what the playoff picture really is going to look like. I think the Mavs could shoot up. A team like the Suns could shoot down, depending on health still. I wouldn't even be entirely surprised if the Kings fell out just a little bit. But the Lakers, man, I think they're screwed. They will make the play-in, but I just don't. This isn't the year whatsoever. So I hope they figure it out just for talent's sake. But yeah. So let me know what you guys think. This was more of a just casual conversation type video, just to kind of give some content while I'm working on this research project. I just wanted something to talk about because I haven't uploaded in a while. But yeah, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button. If you enjoyed this type of content, please let me know in the comments. I am Metro Athletics, and please keep your eye on the future research video that's coming out very soon. It's going to be great. I hope you guys enjoy it.